growing up, even back as elementary school, it was 22 kids typically per class starting around second, third grade. And actually, no, second grade was 18 because I remember my teacher, Miss Sheehan, God bless her, the greatest teacher I've ever had in my life, was like complaining to the class saying like, they're going to bump our kids up to 23 a class. And I go, that's awesome. More friends. Just blurting out 8 years old. And she goes, no, that's bad. Less learning. And I don't know why 20 years later that still sticks in my head. But it's so true because I think back at Hofstra, right? I went to Hofstra, Long Island, journalism school. Most of my classes were very small. It was maybe like in a class, a bunch of computers in a square, 20 kids. And then some of the core classes you need to graduate because they want your money was about 60 kids in like a tiered lecture hall. But I definitely learned more in the small classroom, not because it was my major, but also because it was a smaller class. It's just easier to engage. You know the people. It's easier to have a relationship with the teacher. So from your perspective as a professor, what's the challenges and the differences between a 50 and 60 in a 12-student classroom?
Oh gosh, it's night and day. You know, people don't like to ask questions in front of other people, and people are easily distracted. And it's easier to skip class if you're one of 60 as opposed to being one of 12.
Very true.
And I guess the other end of it, the people that show up for a smaller class like that are very specialized and are really interested in what you're going to be teaching. So it makes for a better experience for the teacher as well.
It's probably easier to make lesson plans too.
Oh,
right? Right? Because if it's a lecture hall and 60 kids, it's just usually, because I'm thinking specifically, it was like ancient Greek literature, which was really cool because I love that stuff. And like the stories are really crazy, but it's just hard to read because it was written God knows how long ago. But he was just up at the top of class, just talking, asking discussion questions and trying to keep up and take notes. And it's easy to fall behind.
Yeah.
And with business, I think it's even worse because it's a lot of definitions and like, here's what this means and make your flashcards, that kind of like, so how do you what is the best way to be successful in your class?
The best way to be successful is just come to class, but write down the stuff that I say. If it's really important, I say, this will be on the test. I use that old line. And do the assignments, just keep up with the work. I'm a big proponent of recognizing effort, and if I have somebody that stumbles out of the box and, I don't necessarily grade on a curve, but let's say, there's a class where 3 exams are almost the whole score. If somebody really flubs the first exam, but, has a great comeback for the second and third period there, I'm going to take that into consideration with respect to grading. So, making sure that I see that you're putting forth some effort.
Well, I go back and forth with the grading scale, right? Because A's and B's are important. It is the one of the best ways to see if you actually know something, but it also doesn't prove you know something. Like I have forgotten more than I learned in my time in school. I've forgotten. I have probably learned more in class that I got C's in than I remember in class that I got A's in. But so I think it should be up to the professor, right? If the effort's there, they're learning, they improve, drop the lowest test grade to help them get a job or keep their scholarship, God forbid. That's definitely big. But as a professor, you do have to have that balance of, okay, here's your letter grade, 'cause that's the way a system works. But there is ways to kind of skirt that and cut favors.
Well, I never go the opposite direction.
Right.
And that makes it much easier right there because nobody's going to complain about getting bumped. Usually I ask people to keep it to themselves. I don't know if that works or not. But
kids talk, man. Especially boys.
That gets
right to the frat and be like, guess what Rhodes did?
Yeah. And the adults, I mean, the MBA students do as well. They do group projects together and start talking about each other's classes and stuff. I'm well aware that they communicate maybe more than they should about what's going on in the class. So I've luckily I haven't had to learn that the hard way where I say something that gets back around and gets me in trouble. I never say anything like that, but I do hear they talk because I'll get questions. Do you really, this sounds kind of, do you really drive a Porsche? Yeah, it's 15 years old and got dents all in it. It's an SUV one, but yeah.
Porsche.
Where the hell did they hear that? I'm not talking about it. I mean, I guess it just did, but I'm not talking about it in class.